Jesus. Am I finally doing this right? Holy crap. Test after test after test after test. But, in theory, we're live. And it's working. In theory. In theory. Facebook is being a pain in the ass. But I think I got everything else up and running now. Well, you may or may not be surprised to hear that Trump is committing treason again. What day does he not? Whoa, I am blown out there. Testing levels. Yeah, he latest reports. Let's tone this down a bit. Yeah, there we go. Latest reports show that he is sharing intel, or excuse me, allowing the Russians to share intel with Iran. Trump downplays importance of Russia reportedly sharing intel with Iran to help it hit U.S. targets. I mean, could it be? This guy is so thirsty for a false flag attack. Holy shit. I mean, like, they need like a Tinder for war crimes. You know, he's just swiping right, like falling oil from the sky. Cool. Swipe right. Bombing water treatment facilities. Swipe right. Nuking an entire country, swipe right. I mean, it just never ends. Donald Trump said Saturday that it was inconsequential if Russia has provided Iran with information to help Tehran target U.S. military personnel and assets in the Middle East as the week-old war rages. And keep in mind, this is even after he has basically been saying he doesn't care if people get hurt. He doesn't care if Americans die. He's okay with sending boots on the ground there. Because, you know, he ain't going to serve. Even when he was in the prime of his life, he had bone spurs, right? He couldn't serve. So, yeah, now he's saying that, well, now we know that 6 Army reservists were killed. And there's a whole cover-up even of that because they had to show old footage of the transfer of the soldiers because Trump was wearing a weird-ass, dopey, ugly hat in complete disrespect of protocol for these 6 military people who were killed. He dismissed the import of such information sharing after he attended the dignified transfer for 6 Army reservists who were killed in a drone strike in Kuwait the day after the U.S. and Israel launched a war on Iran that has unsettled the global economy. This was published when? Today? March 7th? So this was on Saturday that this report came out. He stopped short of confirming reports by the AP and other news outlets that U.S. intelligence officials believe Russia has provided Iran with such targeting information. But if Moscow is passing on such details, he said Iran was getting little out of it. Well, clearly not, because 6 of our boys are dead, right? They're getting nothing out of it except really good targets, really good targets. Oh shit! I think we're getting another one. Hold on, I gotta go. If you take a look at what's happened to Iran in the last week, if they're getting information, it's not helping them much. If you take a look at what's happened to Iran in the last week, if they're getting information, it's not helping them much. Not much, not much, not much at all. It's not helping them much. Trump told reporters on Air Force One as he flew to Miami, where he's spending the rest of the weekend. Right, because he's golfing. The hardest working guy in the White House is golfing or crashing a wedding and asking the little girl how old she is, knowing Trump. Trump also waved off a question about how Russia assisting Iran in such a way might affect his view of the U.S.-Russia relationship. They'd say we do it against them. Trump responded, wouldn't they say that we do it against them? So yet again, I mean, it's like he never criticizes Russia, ever, because he knows, again, who his boss is. It ain't the voters. It's fucking Putin. Let me check on something here. Analytics. There we go. Even better. Ukraine, in the 4 years since it was invaded by Russia, has received U.S. intelligence to help defend against incoming missiles from Russia, as well as to help Kyiv hit certain Russian targets. Downplaying the significance of Russia handing off battle space intelligence to Iran came after the U.S. Treasury Department announced earlier this week that it was temporarily allowing India to keep buying crude oil and petroleum products from Russia for a month until April 4th. Keep in mind, the Russian economy was fucking kaput up until recently, and this now, with Russia having an entirely almost competition-free oil selling market, they're gonna hello. The closet door keeps cracking in the heat of the apartment. This is going to restock their war chest. So now Russia's going to have even more money to commit more war crimes. Excuse me. Don Bacon condemned the move, saying in a post on X that weakness towards Russia is appalling. Yeah, you're a Republican, so maybe switch parties or become an independent. Ted Lieu, ugh, I hate him. Next post directed at Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent also decried the administration's decision. Reverse your decision to lift oil sanctions on Russia. It is traitorous conduct for you to help Russia, Lieu said. Meanwhile, Russia is assisting Iran in targeting American troops. I mean, again, this is literally going to be a false flag operation. This is giving Iran an opening to attack our ships. And speaking of false flags, I mean, we had two things happened just over the last week. Two men charged with terror offenses after a homemade bomb thrown outside New York City mayor's home. Two men have been charged with terror offenses after police said they attempted to bomb a protest out the New York City's mayor's home in an attack allegedly inspired by the Islamic State group. So this is my ignorance. I actually don't know. I don't know what the Islamic State's affiliation is with Iran. I remember obviously they were in Afghanistan and Iraq, but I don't know what their connection is to Iran. This could be totally unrelated too. The suspects, 18-year-old Emir Balat and 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayumi, allegedly told police they aimed for the Saturday attack to be even larger than the Boston Marathon bombing in 2013. Jesus Christ, that's dark. Whew. New York police, I'm glad it's daylight savings time because it's getting... Have we had daylight savings time? Because this shit is dark. New York police say the pair attempted to detonate two explosives outside Gracie Mansion, where Mamdani lives. Someone's found a third bomb in their car. These are just the biggest knuckleheads. I mean, you thought that the MAGA people are stupid and can't, don't know science. I mean, how could you go through all of this? Just theoretically, they went through all of this and they couldn't even do the thing right. Like, you're an idiot. Honestly, prison is the best place for these folks because, if they didn't do it right this time, they probably would have just blown themselves up in their own home. Well, that might have been the better option, but... they could have been if they didn't prepare the bomb right, it could have gone off in their car in traffic. I mean, someone was going to get hurt. So, thank God so many, or whatever deity you believe in above, thank whatever deity you believe in, that so many of the terrorists nowadays are complete fucking idiots. Happened during an anti-Islam protest. None of the explosives went off, thank God. Footage of the incident shows one of the suspects being detained just seconds after igniting one of the explosives. Jesus. Just got Tish. The suspect admitted to being inspired by ISIS and watched ISIS propaganda. So I wonder if these guys are the homegrown terrorism. Because, again, this keeps happening more and more, where you have war, and this happened after, oh, God, what was the kid's name? There was an American, was a soldier, and then basically left to join Al-Qaeda, I think it was. And then there was another domestic terrorist attack that was inspired by ISIS, and it was a white kid. And I mean, this stuff just keeps happening more and more because you get the path of radicalization. You get someone down. I mean, we've seen it with the incel terrorists on the right wing, and of course we saw it with January 6th. There's such an easier time to get radicalized than ever, it seems, because of the internet. They're facing charges, including attempting to provide material support to ISIS and using a weapon of mass destruction. Unclear if the two defendants had lawyers. We're fortunate the devices used this weekend did not cause the kind of harm that they were certainly capable of causing. Whew. Ain't that true. Just during a news conference on Monday, luck is never a strategy. Devices like these. Yeah, I mean, again, it's so amazing how stupid. I mean, imagine these guys are in jail now. Like, what'd you get in? What are you in for? We fucked up a terrorist attack. Cool. Shank, shank, shank. Yeah, all right. You're not coming back from that one. I mean, I wonder if that's a thing. If there's like a pecking order in jail a hierarchy where like the people who fuck up their attacks or whatever are like the bitch, you know, and they're just everyone's bottom bunk butt buddy. Tish said one of the defendants, Balat, made several statements about ISIS while being transported to the police station, including saying, "If I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it." Oh, God. These people are crazy. Balat allegedly said he hoped the attack would be even bigger than blah, blah, blah. 2013, dead and hundreds of runners, spectators. Mandani called the anti-Islam protest rooted in bigotry and racism, but said what followed was even more disturbing. Correct. Monday, he said in a subsequent statement that the two men charged should be held fully accountable for their actions. You keep New Yorkers safe. We will not tolerate it. I mean, this is like such a level-headed thing to say. It's like two things can be true at the same time. And again, how hard is that? Well, apparently it's very hard for a lot of people. But two things can be true at the same time. One, the anti-Islam protest is done by evil, terrible, ugly people. And two, this bombing is far worse. We are just in dark times, man. Let's bring Sesame Street back. Let's bring back the Muppets. I need some happiness in my life. And this is such a level-headed statement again, but he's going to get criticized from it. The New York Post had a shitty article because, of course, they did. It's the New York fucking Post. Where am I? Monday, he sent a subsequent statement. The two men charged should be blah, 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 blah. Tish said New York Police Department of Vigilance. She thanked two of the officers stepped forward without hesitation, without regard for their own safety after the devices were lit. Whew, that's some Captain America shit right there. Remember in the movie when Tommy Lee Jones throws a grenade and then Rogers jumps on it? Tish said an analysis of one of the devices showed it was made of triacetone triperoxide. Dangerous, highly volatile, homemade explosive. Where the fuck do they find this stuff? As I Google this, I don't think that's going to look good in my search history. But I do, like, here's the other thing. When I was a kid, and I'm hearing about, you know, my schoolmates, you know, doing drugs, or they're getting weed, they're getting coke, they're getting heroin, they're getting even just booze. I'm like, I don't know where to find that shit. How do you do this? I'm just a young innocent kid from a farm. How does this happen? And what in the fuck is this? Triacetone triperoxide. That material had been used in other terrorist attacks, could have led to many deaths. Officers found a car tied to two suspects, used a robot that found another explosive device inside that was consistent with the first two explosive devices. Over the weekend, Tish told reporters the protest outside the mayor's residence was organized by Jake Lang. Oh, this guy. This is the dude that ran out of Philly and got beat the fuck up. Oh, he's also a January 6th pedophile. That makes sense. Outnumbered by the counter-protest, which had over 100 participants. So wait a minute. So Jake Lang did the anti-Islam protest. Tish told reporters protesters. Was this the same protest or is this a different one? It sounds like it's a different one. Two groups clashed. Video from the scene confirmed there's a media partner. CBS News showed Balat. Okay, so no, it was at that same one. Poof. Jake Lang, you are one lucky dude for that shit. Because, like, if that shit had gone off, these right-wing assholes would have been the targets. And, I mean, they would have been got the Charlie Kirk treatment all over again. His media partner, CBS News showed Balat throwing the first ignited device, which extinguished itself after striking a barrier. Balat then retrieved... Wait, what? Throwing the first ignited device, which extinguished itself after striking a barrier? What, did he throw it into a fucking waterfall? What was the barrier? How did it go off? Or how did it extinguish itself? I know that I am not particularly smart, but God, I'm really glad I don't do crimes, because, well, apparently I'd be really good at it. Because if this is what these guys are stupid enough to do, well, that's why I would never do it, is because I know this shit is stupid. Balat then retrieved a second device from Kayumi, lit it, and started running before later dropping it. They're lucky they didn't get shot, honestly. Monday, Mondani said both devices had been thrown. Devices were reportedly made from glass bottles filled. So it's basically a Molotov cocktail. Yeah, it's improv Molotov cocktail. I've confirmed the suspicious items to be... Yeah. So this, I mean, again, I don't know the ISIS ties to Iran, but this is clearly, you know, kind of an Islamic terrorist, whatever you want to call it. And I just like, would this have happened if we were not at war with Iran? That's a question. FBI investigating this was a couple weeks ago. Texas bar shooting that killed 2 and wounded 14 as possible terrorist attack. This, if I recall right, was directly tied to the Iran war. Gunman wearing clothes with an Iranian, flag design and the words "Property of Allah" killed 2 people and wounded 14 early Sunday at a Texas bar. Investigating the shooting, which erupted a day after the U.S. and Israel launched an attack on Iran as a potential act of terrorism. Police in Austin shot and killed the man who used both a pistol and a rifle to carry out the attack. Ugh. Outside Buford's backyard beer garden just before 2 a.m. Just before 2 a.m. Man, these people they have a worse sleep schedule than I do. Nathan Comeau, whatever, a 22-year-old senior spent the evening there with friends full of college students, probably mostly UT kids, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, could you imagine that? You're just like, this is the daily, like, existence in America now. We can't go to a bar without having to worry about getting shot to death. Suspect drove past the bar several times before stopping and shooting from the window of his SUV as people on a patio in front of the bar. He then parked, got out with a rifle, and began shooting at people walking. Jesus. Intersection and shot him, Davis said. 3 of the injured were in critical condition Sunday morning, she said. The gunman was identified 53-year-old Ndiaga Dian. Student witnesses the gunfire. Left the bar to grab pizza at a food truck. So he hid behind a bench for about a minute before getting out. He saw police officers running toward the scene. Smart guy. I'm guessing many other UT students do as well. Says attack may be terrorism. I mean, here's the other thing. I mean, that, like, yes, obviously it seems like a pretty obvious case of terrorism, but we can't trust the FBI. They couldn't find Charlie Kirk's shooter. They could barely find Luigi Mangione. He had to get turned in. Who was the other one? They can't find that one woman, Guffrey, the mother. Can't find her. So, like, what are we supposed to do here? We have an FBI that doesn't know what in the hell they're doing. They don't know their elbow from their asshole. And then here's the other thing: is not only is the war going to incite more terrorist attacks at home and abroad, but you have all of the feds are too busy hunting down friggin' abuelas and, like, hot dog vendors on the street and day laborers outside Home Depot. This is actual proven fact within their own documentation that they have pulled people off of actual crime units. I covered this the other day. Kash Patel fired a team of FBI agents who were involved in the Mar-a-Lago raid, if I remember correct, and they're experts on counter-espionage in Iran. He fired them 2 days before the war with Iran. Yeah. We are governed by idiots. We are governed by the Austin Powers villains who want so bad to be in James Bond, but they just are like central casting rejects. So this is just going to make more violence here. It's going to make more violence abroad. Stay